Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible impact. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission? In Miss Wheelchair America. Welcome all to accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on individuals and organizations and the work that they do. I'm your host, Josh Basil. I'm a C45 quadriplegic, paralyzed below my shoulders, and a power wheelchair user. I'm the Community Relations Manager at accessiBe and a passionate disability rights advocate and trial attorney, focused on breaking down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. Today on accessiBe Spotlight Sessions, we're joined by Chandra Smith, an IT engineer and a 508 compliance officer and Miss Wheelchair America 2024. Welcome, Chandra.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for having me.
And I'm so excited to have you here. And as a visual description, I am wearing a gray sweater, a V-neck with a little Oxford button down inside my shirt. And I am a white male, 38 years old, in a power wheelchair. It's great to be here today.
Hi, Josh. Again, this is Chandra Smith, Miss Wheelchair America 2024, and I'm an IT engineer with the Defense Intelligence Agency. I am a Black female wearing my crown and my sash today, and I wear glasses, and I'm 36 years old. Thanks again for inviting me.
I'm so excited to have you on the program today, Chandra. And let's just dive right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I often get the question, have I always used the wheelchair for mobility? And the answer is no. I acquired a disability 2 years ago. I became a triple amputee, sepsis survivor, and a stroke survivor after doing a 7-day water only fast. So I'm pretty new to the community.
And wow, that has been quite a 2 year journey. And to already be Miss Wheelchair America 2024. Tell us what it was like to become Miss Wheelchair America, and what did that all entail?
Wow, that thank you for asking that question because I would never think in a million years that I would do a pageant. And when my occupational therapist told me about it, I was like, I'm definitely not a pageant girl. And I was thinking about toddlers in tiaras. And she was like, no, 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 this is more of an advocacy competition. So I started to do more research about it, about the organization and what it stood for. And I realized that this wasn't my typical beauty pageant. This was about advocacy. Each one of these girls have platforms, and it's about the accomplishments of women who use wheelchairs for mobility. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. That is my definition of beautiful.
And what did you first have to win your state, then to get to nationals? What did you have to do to get the crown?
Yes. So you compete, each woman competes within their state. And then if you win your state competition, you go on to compete nationally from women all across the United States.
And you were the winner, which I love. And so as Miss Wheelchair America 2024, what is your platform?
My platform is digital accessibility. Like I stated earlier, I'm an IT engineer for the Defense Intelligence Agency, and I've been sitting in the 508 office for about 4 years. So my platform became digital accessibility because when I was in the hospital, I went to the computer lab, and that trip was very different for me. And I realized how much of an issue digital accessibility is and still is an issue at that point. So that became my platform.
That's awesome, and it's such an important platform to get behind. And we're when people think of accessibility, they usually think of the physical world, but the digital world. We live on our computers, we live on our devices and our tablets.
Yeah,
It's a very digital world today.
yes. And we need digital ramps as well as physical ramps.
I love it. I've never heard it like that before, and I love that. It's so true.
Yes.
Um, a- and So with your experiences with Miss Wheelchair America 2024, I bet you've had quite a few memorable experiences. Can you share some that, or share one in particular that's had a lasting impact on you?
Yes. So, one of the lasting impacts of the competition for just competing is actually going to Miss Wheelchair America, and you see plenty of individuals with wheelchairs, and you will never see that besides in that competition. And one of the things that stuck out to me is that all the girls, we got together to go celebrate one of our sister's birthdays, and we went to the restaurant, and instead of them taking, adding chairs, they were taking chairs away. And it was all eyes on us, and we were in the community. We were saying we are here to stay, and we're just participating like everyone else. And that was very memorable for me because, you usually go to anywhere, and we're usually the minority, but at that competition, we are the majority. So that's what stood out to me. It's just a big community of wheelchair users.
And I bet it's one of those communities that you just get lifelong friendships out of, and
Yeah,
you get a wheel together, and I know the more wheels you have, the more tuds you can turn, and the louder your voices and wheels can be together. So that's pretty cool.
yes, definitely.
And with your platform, has it brought you anywhere across the country, or like, have you been able to do any travels with your current platform?
Oh, yes. One of the perks, if you will, of one of the duties as Miss Wheelchair America is to travel across the United States and spread your message of awareness. So I've been so far done 41 engagements, and I've been to various states across the United States. And my favorite one by far would probably be, let's see, out of all the places I've gone, I enjoy LA. Yep, LA, California. It was really accessible there. It was a lot of transportation that could take me to places. So the more accessible it was, the happier I was in terms of traveling around.
I bet that's so awesome. And I bet some of our audiences, they hear that you're an IT engineer and a 508 compliance officer for a government agency. Can you tell us what that actually means? Like, what do you do?
So I make sure that all of our communication, information technology is accessible to individuals with disabilities. I write policies. I do website compliance and so forth. I make sure videos have closed captions. I do quite a bit in terms of making sure that everyone has access to the information and data that they need.
And when it comes to 508 compliance officers, does every agency get multiple ones, or does every agency have one compliance officer serving?
Well, it depends. For the IC, that is the intelligence community, this was very new for us to try to come into compliance. So we are like infants in this realm, and agencies will be lucky if they have a designated office like we do that deals with those type of things.
That's interesting. And I love asking this question, but what first comes to mind when you hear the word accessibility?
So I subscribe to the social model of disability. And when I think about accessibility, I think about it just existing. And if things were accessible, there will be no need for accommodations. So we will be in the beginning and not an afterthought. So I think of access to everything we need in the physical as well as the virtual world.
It's very interesting that you bring that up. Can you teach our audience a little bit more about what the difference between the social model and the medical model of disability is?
Yes. I look at my disability as I'm disabled because of the worlds and the systems and the things around me. So if, for example, if there was a ramp and just not a set of staircases, then I can access the building. But the medical looks at your diagnosis that I have a disability and I don't have access to the things that I need because I am disabled and because I am a triple amputee or a stroke survivor and so forth, rather than just the things around me which really are causing the issue, which really needs to change. So it really needs to be a cultural and a mindset change. Not only do we need a seat at the table, people need to believe that we belong there in the first place.
Thank you so much for sharing that and teaching that. It's an important perspective and a way of thinking about and really how the world thinks about disability. It's not always one lens and one approach. And what role do you believe technology plays in making the world more inclusive for people with disabilities?
Technology plays a huge role. I was able to go back to my agency and work as an IT engineer because of the assistive technology and the accommodations that I received. So I use Dragon Naturally Speaking, for example, to write and so forth. So when I'm looking at codes and things, my computer is primarily voice controlled because I don't have dexterity and so forth. So technology opens the doors for individuals with disabilities.
I love that. And if you could give one piece of advice to businesses around the country, why is it so important to bring accessibility and inclusion into their futures and their business model?
Because we want to live in a world where everyone matters. And the individuals with disabilities, we will come to your storefront, we will come and visit your business. But when you think of being inclusive, you think of adding everyone. And basically, that is just good design in general. So you don't want to really focus on a group of people, but if you make your website accessible to everyone, then everyone can benefit regardless of ability.
Yeah, it's amazing to think like accessibility, yes, it can help people with disabilities, but it can also help all your other customers at the same time have better experiences. Can you talk a little bit about how like how businesses or the community, how the world around us can think differently around bringing things to compliance or to make things more accessible?
Yes. So, as you stated, accessibility benefits everyone. It's a win win. For example, when you think about closed captions, it doesn't just benefit individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing, it benefits everyone. It increases comprehension. You could think about people who might be dyslexic or who might have English as a second language. Or if you're in a noisy environment, I know that when you're at the gym, if you're trying to watch the news or you're trying to hear anything, you might turn to the closed captions to see what is happening and still concentrate on other things and draw out some of that noise. So when we think about these things, we need to think holistically, like this just benefits everyone. And if accessibility just exists, then we wouldn't need an accommodation because it will be already the world that we live in.
And that's a beautiful world I would love to live in. So let's keep doing more to make the world accessible for all abilities. And as the internet kind of use increases, as we know it is in today's world, what are some things that you wish would occur online?
I am hoping to see a strengthening of our policies across the United States of how we deal with a number of the websites are still inaccessible to individuals who are using screen readers and so forth. So I would like to see more involvement with, not just federal agencies or those receiving federal fundings, but across the states as well, of everyone just taking a look at their applications and trying to create a more digital accessible environment for everyone. So I would like to see that in terms of increasing and more technology coming out to benefit everyone, not just individuals with disabilities. And I would like to see a lot of individuals with disabilities sitting in those roles, such as 508 compliance officers, and sitting in the roles of working on websites and just increasing job availability with technology as well.
I love that so much. And Chandra, thank you so much for being our guest today on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. I love what you're doing. I love your journey, and I love all the great work you're going to continue to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And to all of our guests, thank you for staying to the end of accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us at accessiBe_community. And as always, take care. And again, thank you for being on this journey. Bye, Chandra. Bye, everyone.